What is up, Ivy Leaguers? We got a great, quick little episode for you today, all right? Sweet 16 time. Let's break it down. Now we can actually get into the matchups for March Madness a lot more because we got some really, really big matchups here in the Sweet 16, all right? So we're going to start it off. First game we're going to talk about, starting with a bang here, Duke versus St. John's, okay? Now, this game is going to be insane because, look, you got Rick Pitino has brought the Johnnies to their first Sweet 16 since 1999. Now, Duke's been here before. All right, Duke knows this. They know how to win. They've got the talent. Duke has the talent to. They have the talent to win the national championship. All right, we're just being honest. All right, they have, I think, the best talent in the bracket right now. However, however, they have not played great in this tournament so far. They only won their first game by 6 points against the number 16 seed, Siena. Now, I get it. It's March, okay? All you got to do in March is survive and advance. I get that. I'm just saying, if a team can figure out how to get around Duke, you never know. That's where the upsets happen. And let's be honest, this St. John's team isn't a joke, okay? They are a very, very, very good team, okay? They have wonderful defense. When they're able to shoot the ball, they're unstoppable, in my opinion. Now, they had a close one with Kansas, only winning by 2 points on a fantastic game winning shot. I just think that Duke is just really, really tough to beat here. I mean, I'm just looking at the stats here, and it's just tough to pick against Duke. And I'm not going to. I'm going to pick Duke. All right, so I think Duke will beat St. John's. But just watch out for this one. I think if at any point during this tournament, if one team's going to beat Duke, it will be St. John's. Just because of their physicality and their rebounding ability. But I think Duke wins. Duke ekes it out barely and advances to the Elite Eight. And then we'll stick in the, what is this, the East? We'll stick in the East with Michigan State versus UConn. That's going to be another fun one, 3 versus 2. This one could get interesting because I have Michigan State picked, and I'm pretty confident in it because while UConn has looked good this whole tournament, I really, really like how Michigan State is playing basketball right now. I feel like they're amped up. They're getting ready to go. I feel like they have the right momentum right now. I feel like they're executing on every level right now, whether it's defense, offense, shooting, rebounding, passing, everything, coaching. I really think they're executing on high cylinders. And look, I just think Sparty's got it right now. I mean, Michigan State, they've been out of it for so long now, it feels like. I think it's Michigan State's time to maybe even make a Final Four run. I could see them maybe knocking off Duke in the Elite Eight if they win this game, but they have to beat UConn. And UConn is no easy task. I understand that because UConn's physical. UConn is everything you want in a basketball team, really. But will they be able to handle Michigan State's pace? We will see. I'm going to pick Michigan State, though. Okay, so that has one Elite Eight matchup already set in Duke versus Michigan State. Let's move on to the South because the South is crazy, all right? After Iowa knocked off Florida, it everything has changed in this bracket now because you have Iowa versus Nebraska now in a Sweet 16 matchup. A matchup I don't think anyone really saw coming, but here it is. And I'm going to tell you about this one. Nebraska survived against Vanderbilt barely. I think that Iowa is on a roll right now. I think Iowa wins this game just due to their 3-point shooting ability. I think when you watch Iowa play basketball, it's really fun to watch Iowa play basketball. It's really tough to beat. They can really do it all on you. And I think Iowa actually ends up winning this game against Nebraska just due to the fact that they're hot right now. And what happens in March is you just got to get hot. It's the same way in the 12-team college football playoff now. You just got to get hot at the right time. And Iowa is hot right now. So I'm picking Iowa to advance to the Elite Eight there. Next, sticking in the South, you got Illinois versus Houston. This one's interesting because while I originally picked Houston, I'm a little I'm off of them a little, and I don't really know why. It's something about this Houston team that doesn't feel as explosive. Even though they put up 88 points against Texas A&M, there's just something about it where it's like they're missing something. There's some aspect that they're missing. I don't really know what it is, but there's some aspect that they're missing. While Illinois has been off and running all week. Really in the first round they were hitting on all cylinders. Boom, boom, boom. It felt like for Illinois. So if Houston's defense shows up, I think Houston will win this game. And I'm going to pick Houston, but watch out. This is another one. This is very similar to that Duke versus St. John's matchup where I'm going to pick the favorite, but you got to watch out for that underdog, okay? Because Illinois is going to be coming in hot, and you got to watch out for the hot team. But I'm going to pick Houston here. I think their defense shuts them down, and therefore they will play Iowa in the Elite Eight, according to my bracket, of course. So now we'll go up to the West, where the first Sweet 16 matchup in the West is Arizona versus Arkansas, number 1 versus number 4. This one's going to get sketchy. I really, really like Arkansas's team. I think Arkansas has one of the better players, if not the best player in the nation right now, and I think that it's just really hard not to pick Arkansas. But Arizona would be the team to beat Arkansas here. I mean, I think Arizona's going to try and match them pace-wise and shooting ability-wise. It's going to come down to which team gets the stop. And the way this season has gone, neither team really has been able to do that in a shootout except Arizona. Arizona has been really good at that. However, I really, really like the momentum Arkansas is carrying going into this game. So I'm going to pick Arkansas here to pull off a miracle upset. I think it'll be surprising if they do it, but I'm going to pick it. Okay? I just got a feeling about Arkansas. I don't know what it is, but it's a good feeling. And I think Arkansas moves on past Arizona. I'm picking them. Next, you got Purdue versus Texas. And this one's cool. I actually really, really like this one because Purdue has a wonderful, wonderful team and a wonderful ability to play however they want to. But Texas is the exact same way, just not the same talent-wise. So I think Purdue ends up winning this game. But I think watch out for Texas maybe late second half to storm back into this thing and make it a game. They knocked off Gonzaga in the round of 32, so that was shocking. Look, I think Texas is going to give Purdue a run for their money. We're going to put it that way, but I have Purdue winning that game regardless. So now we go on to Michigan versus Alabama in the Midwestern bracket. All right, this one's interesting, y'all. And I have analyzed this one more than any other game because, as you know, Alabama's everywhere. I think Alabama wins this game. And I'm not saying that because of the name on my chest right now. Maybe a little. But the truth is, it's going to be high-flying, high-scoring, good, solid basketball. All right, it's going to be the best game to watch, in my opinion. Maybe better than the St. John's Duke game. But the key is going to be, can Michigan's bigs stay on the floor? Because if Michigan's playing their bigs, it's going to be really tough for Alabama to beat them because Alabama plays small. Alabama plays small and fast. Now, Michigan's bigs are able to guard the guards in half-court offense, but Alabama doesn't want to play half-court offense. Alabama wants to speed you up, get you off the floor. So if their bigs start getting tired running up and down the floor, or if they get into foul trouble, that's where Alabama will beat you. And that's where Alabama has beaten everyone. Look, I thought that I was fully waiting for Texas Tech to beat Alabama in the round of 32. And Alabama ended up beating them by 25. When Alabama is on, you can't stop them. When Alabama is hitting their threes, you can't stop them because that's just how good they are. They've got the talent. They've got the ability. They have the game plan. But if they're on, and you're not stopping them. But if they're off, that's when you can beat them. And it's hit or miss. It really is. So it's going to be interesting. If Alabama comes out hot, I don't think Michigan can stop them, especially with Michigan missing one of their top players, especially with Michigan's bigs getting tired running up and down the floor. That's my take. And I see it. I see it coming. I see it coming. I've talked to look the basketball coach in my high school. He fully agrees with me. I mean, I'm a Nate Oats fanatic. I think Nate Oats' basketball vision is just incredible, and I think it's going to lead him to an Elite Eight appearance right now, if not a Final Four run. And I'm saying that 100%. Look, Labarian Philon of Alabama is, I think, the best point guard in the nation. He's the best point guard defender in the nation, probably, most likely. And he's 6'5", he's lanky. He's gonna speed you up. He's gonna slow you down. He's gonna do whatever he wants to you. And I think that's why Alabama beats Michigan. That's my take. I'm sticking to it. Then your final Sweet 16 game would be Tennessee versus Iowa State. Winner would go on to play Alabama in my bracket. And as much as I want to say Tennessee wins, because Tennessee ruined my bracket, I had Virginia in the Final Four, and they beat Virginia. As much as I want to say Tennessee is going to do it, no. Iowa State's good. Y'all, Iowa State is a really good team, and Tennessee and Iowa State are just going to kill each other. But I'm picking Iowa State to advance to an Elite Eight. I think they out-physical Tennessee when it comes down to late minutes. Tennessee got pretty gassed against Virginia, and I think that'll show. I think it'll show. So now I'm going to go ahead and pick my Elite Eight, my Final Four, all that stuff, and then we'll do another one, the same kind of thing we did here. So for me, in my Elite Eight in the Eastern Division, I have Duke versus Michigan State. Very interesting game, very similar to Duke versus St. John's. I just think Duke wins due to talent. I just do. I can't pick against Duke right now. I'm picking Duke to make it to the Final Four. And they would play either Houston or Iowa, according to my bracket. And I think Houston beats Iowa in a hypothetical scenario. I think Houston would just be more physical, plain and simple. And I think, therefore, Houston would advance to the Final Four in that sense. So now we would have Arkansas versus Purdue in the Elite Eight on the West. And this one is where it gets a little different. Because typically I say defense beats offense, and henceforth Purdue would win. This is not the case in this game. Arkansas will speed Purdue up if they play, and I don't think Purdue will be able to keep up with that. I just don't. So I think Arkansas in that case would advance to the Final Four, which would be crazy. So now your last Elite Eight game, hypothetical Elite Eight game, would be Alabama versus Iowa State. And this one's weird because two very different teams. Again, Alabama's going to try and speed you up, do whatever they can, hit the three ball on you. And Iowa State's going to try and slow you down. Play their game. If Iowa State can play their game, I don't think Iowa State would get beat. But, again, it all comes down to if Alabama's hot. And right now they're hot. All right, and sometimes being hot can carry on from games, okay? Alabama went on an 8-game winning streak because they were hot for at least 6 of those games in a row, all right? And in this case, it's looking like the same thing, okay? They got hot at the end of the Hofstra game, and I think it's carrying over. It carried over the Texas Tech game. I think it's going to carry over to the Michigan game, and I think it's going to carry over to this hypothetical Iowa State game. And I think Alabama upsets Iowa State and goes to the Final Four. It would be shocking. It would be huge, but I think they do it. In that case, my Final Four would be Duke versus Houston and Alabama versus Arkansas. Wow. I know, I'm shocked. I think Duke beats Houston. Like I said, I don't think I'm picking against Duke. I think Duke beats Houston, and I think Alabama beats Arkansas. They've already beaten them once this season. Why not again? I was actually at that game. Crazy game of the century, some say. And in the championship, it would be Duke versus Alabama in this hypothetical, and I think Duke wins. Like I said, I just don't think I'm picking against Duke. Duke is just that good. Now, they could easily lose to St. John's this round, and I could be wrong. I think St. John's has the best chance to beat Duke out of anybody. But I think in this hypothetical scenario, Duke wins. I just do. That's my take, and I'm sticking to it. You know, I think Bama's Final Four run would be magical. I think it'll happen. I think they have a legitimate shot to make it happen right now. Of course, Michigan could blow out Alabama and ruin everything I just said, but it's March. This is why we love March. We love, love, love March. It's my favorite time of the year. March Madness, maybe not my favorite time of the year, but by far one of the best sport tournaments in all the land. And after March, it's April, which means the Masters. What? Which we will go nuts for the Masters. We're going to do a ton of coverage for the Masters. So that's my take. All right, Sweet 16 bracket has Duke beating Alabama in the national championship. Have a great day, Ivy Leaguers. Until next time, keep tuning in, keep commenting. Tell me what you want to see. We're getting some more golf content out here soon. We're going to have a match going on. Might be doing a feature on a certain high school basketball team. What? All right, it's going to be lit. Make sure you stay tuned to the Ivy League Sports Podcast. Until next time, see ya.